Welcome to the Delight Your Marriage podcast. You're joining me, Bella Rose, as I dive deep into the beauty, power, and truths about intimacy. Learn not only the practicals, but the heart behind what making love is all about. Delight your marriage. So if you have listened to this podcast before, you know that every now and then I'll bring my husband on, and I have heard so many times that it has been a treat to the listener to hear who this man is and his heart, and I have to agree, it is a treat. And so today I brought him on to allow you and me to hear his reactions to the stories and the miracles that have happened in the Masculinity Reclaimed program. He really has an empathy for the men in the work, because he really understands where they're coming from, and he just adds so much color and validation and encouragement to you listening. So yes, we are talking about the stories of these men that have just seen incredible transformations, but you're also able to hear things from Darrow's responses and how he processes things and how he thinks about things that, if you're careful, you're going to pick up some golden perspectives that you definitely wouldn't get any other way. Also, it's kind of fun to just hear some unfiltered ways that we interact. And then actually at the end, I kept recording. And then I asked him afterwards if it was okay to still keep it in. I stopped the recording, but then I started it again. I tricked him. So it's pretty fun. And the stories are just amazing. I really think they're going to encourage you and give you hope, regardless of where you're starting from. Really, you're going to be amazed. Basically, what's happening in Delight Your Marriage world is the Masculinity Reclaimed program fall semester is launching. You basically can do a free sample masterclass that gives you a lot of the information that we go over in depth in the Masculinity Reclaimed program. But you can get all that for free if you sign up for the delightyourmarriage.com/masterclass. And it's going on right now, and the men that are going through it, it's just incredible. They're filling out competitions, which allows them to get prizes and possibly coaching with me directly. It's fantastic. So go ahead and sign up. Go there now. It's not going to be available for long. Some of the men have been registered and waiting for this training to open up for months. So I hope that you will get on. You got in right on time. But let's talk about today's conversation, because there are so many men that have listened to my podcast for many months or even years, and they have heard about the Masculinity Reclaimed program. What I wanted to do is invite my husband here because I want to share with you some of the most amazing stories that came from even this most recent graduating class. So how does that sound to you, babe?
Interesting. Yes, excited.
Yes, and these are guys that have said yes, that I can share their stories. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't do that. The other thing about it is I haven't told Darrow at all about these stories, so he's learning these things for the first time. So it's pretty exciting for him as well.
Yes, it is.
So should I get started?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give these guys pretend names. All right. So we've got Stu L. So what was his biggest marital struggle coming in? He said, my wife's chronic health problems caused exhaustion, low libido, etc. And she also has a certain syndrome which causes problems with the pelvic floor and pain with sex. I didn't want to cause her pain through the act of lovemaking, so it was hard for me to initiate sexual intercourse. And at the same time, it was hard for me to wait for her to initiate because of her low libido. Also, her health doesn't allow her to work full time, so it's challenging to financially justify things like going on dates and buying flowers. We have a great marriage relationship, but the limited amount of sexual intimacy in our relationship was starting to push me away. And to make things worse, since sex didn't happen very often, it was easy for me to justify in my own mind to use porn so I wouldn't have to be so needy. So that's him coming in.
Huh.
And so then, what was his biggest celebrations? He said, I was surprised at how much more often we were having sexual intimacy since I was no longer initiating it. Our sexual intimacy is no longer just an activity that is so easy for me to enjoy and is so difficult for her, but is now much more of a joyful outpouring of our wholehearted love for each other. I don't even think about using porn anymore because this is so much better.
Wow.
Yes.
That's. I keep thinking about the his wife that is struggling with some kind of illness that is very painful for her. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how this man, this husband, is dealing with. His wife is dealing with all this stuff, and the husband, would like a pleasure from his wife, and to dealing with the illness and all the other stuff and financial stuff. I don't know, this husband. It's amazing that people like him is looking for help or trying to understand what is up there, that if there is be helpful stuff for him to understand.
Yeah. And then he said later, I was amazed that what I thought was only a physical challenge for my wife could be largely overcome by the principles taught in this course. He says, thanks for changing my life and my marriage in ways I didn't think needed changing. He said, I learned how to love my wife way more unconditionally than I thought I already was. He says,
1 second.
Yeah.
I can think about when you said that he did not think that he needs to change. I feel like often, me personally, we think that we don't need to change, and we think like everything is fine, but it's not. We don't think as us as a husbands or as a man that we need to change or something. And if we need to change, is a sign of weakness. Well, if you're weak, that means you're looking for help or something. But if you're strong, you in your little mind, your minds, that everything's okay. We're okay. I don't know. That's that's what I think.
I love it. And Stu also adds, he said, we've attended many different kinds of marriage retreats. I have pre-marriage counseling sessions with many couples, and I have a master's degree in family life ministry. And those things are great, and I highly recommend them. But the specific steps Bella led the men in our group through were perfect. I could not believe the challenges many of these men were going through when we started. I didn't think I belonged at first, but to see how God was transforming these lives in real time was so encouraging and inspiring that it made this experience so much more meaningful than just watching a video or reading a book or just going to a weekend conference. God has gifted Bella with a very special, unique way of understanding so many of the educational, psychological, emotional, sexual, and spiritual components that impact marriages. And she is able to speak the truth in love and with lots of laughter, be a good coach by God's grace to each person's unique challenges.
But this is one of the things that I think what you read, what he said. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kind of like in the
Seeing
beginning.
all these guys' lives change.
No, yes. What he says about he thought that he did not belong in that group or something like that. Me, as a person that is not like my wife Bella, she goes up there and talks to everyone. I am the opposite. I feel often sometimes that I don't belong in certain groups, but I feel like, as you know, if we give it a chance, you know, the first time is, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not want to go there. But if we continue to keep, you know, going or doing or saying it, it's, you know, you'll become in that group, and other people, and you are not the only person that is feeling the same way, that you don't belong in that group. It's not that you don't belong because you know, something negative or anything like that. It's just one, I think, is our insecurity. Especially, you know, I talk with myself that it's hard to be, for me, being in groups. But once, like, you know, I'm there, you know, I just not stopped, you know, talking, and just start talking, and I don't know, something changes, and I feel like that group and the person who always includes everyone, it helps me to loosen up and start sharing a lot of things that I thought would never share with that group, you know. And I often, you know, feel that way, and you know, I meet amazing people sometimes when we go groups, that I thought I'm the only one who has the problem, and it turns out that other people had it even worse. And that's when, you know, I'm like, oh man, I feel sorry for, you know, for that person, and it's not about me anymore. I think it's about everybody. And if I had somebody got worse, or somebody got a little better than me, but it's, you know, everybody's trying to get help.
Yeah.
It's not like a competition. You know, everybody's a reason why being a group is for help, to be better for your spouse.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, honey, I just have to add that this is going way better than I thought. Thank you for all of your additions. You can squeeze my hand if you want me to stop at any time.
No.
You have wonderful thoughts. Okay, so last comments from Stu. He said, I no longer have to feel guilty for being so needy, waiting for my wife to fulfill her monthly sexual obligation to her husband. Our sexual intimacy is no longer just an activity that is so easy for me to just enjoy, but difficult for her. But it's now much more a joyful, frequent outpouring of our wholehearted, unconditional love for each other.
Wow. I feel like when you said those words, it says a lot. You know, when somebody asks you, hey, how are you? Oh, we're okay. We're okay. I feel like when somebody said we are okay, it's just you're getting through. But when you say all, you know, this husband saying all those words, those words mean a lot. Not just you know, words. I feel like everything that he says and put up there with words, I feel like it speaks so much.
Yeah.
Of just words. It's, I don't know, it's incredible words that you know, how you take it.
I love it. It's so good. Yes. Okay. Well, let's talk about Carmen then. And feel free. Just tell me if you want me to stop. Okay, so their biggest marital struggles.
Well, now, hold on. Now I
Yes.
got excited and
Oh,
comfortable.
what else do you want to say?
No. Just excited to hear this other person.
Oh my gosh. I know. These are all new stories for you. Okay.
Wow.
So his biggest marital struggle, my wife never seemed to have any desire for our intimacy. We were at the point we could talk about it quite freely and tried a couple different things, but nothing seemed to work for us. Also, my wife's family of origin. And I know they had some really challenging stuff with her family of origin. So it's hard to feel like your wife doesn't have any desire for sex. Hard not to feel rejected. Family of origin stuff, difficult because my wife misinterprets a lot of my actions and has been super defensive around me. We keep finding out it's because of how her mom treated her. Also, having kids makes us talk about what happened in her childhood that we're going to do differently now.
Also, having kids, your childhood.
Yes. So that's where they started. Lack of desire and then just really a lot of defensiveness. Okay, so then
I feel like, yeah, sorry,
oh,
one
we're
second.
gonna end.
I keep thinking about, this kept in my mind when it says that, whether the way that she was raised or something like
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're often, if not every single time, we act the way that we how our mothers or father, how they taught us.
Yeah.
And sometimes it naturally comes out, our parents, whether the way that we act certain things or we say with certain things to our spouse or kids. I speak with myself that, with my parents, it's a mess. I mean, now they're old, very old, very, very old. But I feel like there was always tension and afraid to do something or afraid to say something, and I feel like that's not. Why would you want a spouse that it feel that way, afraid to say or do something? I feel like, isn't it the spouse to feel free with you to say, whatever you're feeling? But I understand that sometimes we do or say it because of our childhood, the way that our parents raise us. And the same as the other person that the other story that
Stu.
Stu, that I forgot, but what he said about his kids, and a lot of things we start finding out, I act this way because my mom, or my dad. I act this way because of my dad. Just this.
Yeah. It does. It impacts us. And if we haven't seen a good, healthy marriage role modeled for us, it's bound to impact our marriage. Absolutely. Yeah. So here's what happened with Carmen. The biggest celebrations is, I think, the time we had sex and couldn't stop kissing. Not even the underwear was all the way off. I've also noticed that my wife's desire slowly changed. She has been making a ton of sexual jokes and comments the last couple of weeks. She seems to actually be enjoying initiating the last one or two times. Last night, she wore a thong for me for the first time in months, and she also asked for oral sex. Even though I didn't know what to think about it at first, my wife has made it clear that she just wants to be the one who initiates right now. Even though it looks like I'll have to wait a while before I can also initiate some, this is such an improvement. Just that she wants to initiate is amazing. I wouldn't have dreamed of this happening 3 months ago, let alone that she would want to be the only one doing it. My wife told me a day or two ago that intimacy doesn't feel like it did, that it doesn't feel like a demand anymore. Hooray! And then he said, oh, were you going to add something?
I was going to say, when this spouse, when the things that she does to her husband, I thought that what our wives do to us, in our eyes, or we see them, it look natural, right? But I learned that is not, maybe for a lot of people or less people, but that is not natural. It takes a lot of mentality, you know, the way you're thinking. You gotta, you know, make sure you feel sexy enough.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work to get there and show her husband. But when the wife, you know, does that and feels free to, you know, her husband to see her, I think like that's amazing. And I feel so those wives, you know, that the things when they do to their husbands, that it's a lot of effort. And we should say thank you more often.
Yes.
We should be grateful more often, even if nothing happens. I think.
Yes. Speaking of it, Carmen says, I'm really, really thankful for this program. The feminine sex and connection sessions are going to help our marriage a ton. I'm also really thankful for the examples of how to thank my wife for sex, as well as say during. I can tell my wife really likes that. Bravo, Carmen. Yes, she does. And then, how has the program impacted you? You said, I feel desired again. Our sexual intimacy is getting more healthy and I'm happier. Would you recommend it? I would. I would recommend it to a guy who's really passionate about his marriage, but can't quite figure out why things don't seem to be working quite right, regardless of what he tries in or out of the bedroom. Any final thoughts? He says, Bella's work is incredible and life-changing. My wife didn't seem to have any sexual desire for years. After taking this program, my wife is initiating and also enjoying sex again. I'm extremely impressed with the program. Yeah.
That one.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I feel like when the husband says that their wife is been acting this way or doing this way for years, or not doing nothing at all for years, I don't know how. I feel like I have a lot of respect for those husbands that they're still looking for, you know, for an answer to get things better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so true.
I feel like sometimes we try it again, and then we get scared, or it's just too much. It's a lot of work, and we just, you know, forget it.
Yes.
But I am so grateful for those husbands that they're still looking for that help.
Yes, yes. Okay, I'm excited for you to hear about Harold. That's another name I just made up. Okay, so I'm just so excited that you get to hear these stories finally.
This is the first time that I hear those stories.
That's
and
right.
Wow.
Okay, so Harold, biggest struggles. Our marriage was bad. No dialogue. More arguments than talk. Zero intimacy for months. No positive perspective for the future.
Zero intimacy for months. Zero intimacy for months. I feel like that's a lot.
That's a lot of months.
It's a lot of months.
I only laugh because I know the end of the story. Okay. Controlling wife, disrespectful. Everyone lived disrespectfully. In one word, our marriage was miserable. How were these things negatively affecting his life? He said depressed mood, no connection with each other, less than roommates. Life was only routine, no joy.
Less than roommates.
Yeah.
That is really bad. Less than roommates.
Life was only routine, no joy. Like, what? Can you imagine? Often a wife with a disrespectful attitude. Needless to say, no sex. I felt miserable. Do you want to know what happened in a very short amount of time?
I want to know what happened.
Okay.
I mean, when you said, I often see when a husband says controlling wife, and I'm not putting all the pressure on the wives, because not all the wives are the same way. Because I see in a lot of husbands that they just trying to show off to be that man. If you call that man to control his wife, I feel like there's a weak on his mind to this person. You know, when it says controlling wife, and when that happens and you feel and you live, it's terrible in your house. I feel like a lot of people feel that way. As soon as you put a step in that inside of that place, your house or apartment or whatever you live, you feel already the tension, inside. And
Yeah, that's so true.
and then when you go to work,
Yeah.
right? When you go to work, good for you if you focus on your work. You're mad, or sometimes people escape to go to work to feel themselves better.
Yeah.
Especially when you hang out with your buddies, with your guys, and those husbands that when we hang out with guys, we make a lot of jokes, and a lot of jokes, they're not really respectful jokes about ladies or wives.
Yeah.
I hear a lot.
Can I tell you the end of Harold's story? Because I'm about to burst with
Yes.
excitement for you to hear what happened to him. May I?
Yes.
Okay. How have you... Okay, the biggest celebrations, he says, I love my wife. With her mistakes, she is initiating about once a week. Can you believe this is the same story that we just said?
He says, I love my wife.
With her mistakes, yes.
With her mistakes. And before there were less than roommates.
Less than roommates. No intimacy for months. And now she's initiating about once a week. She gives Penny in a way that she never has done before, ever.
Wow.
And then this is funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Isn't this crazy?
That is crazy.
But I remember he said this during the course. He says, I was complaining about lacking mutuality for a long period of time, but just 10 days ago, I was able to share so-called female intimacy and brought her to climax. Wonderful! Exclamation point. But he said, my marriage has turned from a 0 to a 9 out of 10 within 6 months after I had taken the men's masterclass course, Wild Romance, and then signed up for Masculinity Reclaimed. So basically what he did is he took the Wild Romance course, I guess it was 6 months ago. He went through that. Then he did the masterclass and joined Masculinity Reclaimed in the spring. So it's his journey with To Let Your Marriage has been 6 months. And he says, I'm definitely convinced now that it's my responsibility first to love my wife. I can do this only in being connected to my Lord Jesus Christ. Isn't this amazing?
Oh, that is amazing. I can only do this only with my Lord Jesus.
Yes.
To love his wife.
And Okay, a couple other details. Or do you have more to say?
No,
I'm just getting
here
excited.
those.
He says, I would recommend it to any husband at any time of his marriage, newlywed or married for 41 years. So he's been married 41 years.
41 years.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
He says,
41 years.
happily married or on the brink of divorce. The program contains so much wisdom, detailed help in the way how to cope with your wife, to react properly to her reactions. It gives detailed and comprehensible insights into the God-made differences in body and soul between men and women. The course is firmly based on biblical truth and the gospel. Guilt and sin between partners and before God is named as such through the grace of forgiveness. This is addressed. The aim is to develop an atmosphere in marriage that enables a completely new togetherness. What is impressive is that Coach Bella never slips into banalities or profanity, despite very intimate details that are described. Her nomenclature is always precise and pure. Which I thought that was very, very special for him to say.
Yes.
Because no one unless they're in the course really knows how I talk in the course. But
yeah.
There, he can vouch that I don't start, saying crazy things.
I think when you say he's been 40 something years of marriage.
Yeah.
I feel like, when that, it reminds me when I met someone on the street. It was a grandma, and it was a young grandma, and she was telling me, oh, the grandson, the daughter was there, and she said, well, me, I'm old, I'm just waiting for the next life. And I think this grandma probably could be 60, but it looks like 50. And I feel like when she says about just I'm old and I'm just waiting for the next life or something like that. And I feel like what a waste for me, I'm not, what a waste for me of thinking that way about her. Because I feel like this lady, looks young and beautiful. What will you think about your life that that's it. It's meaningless. I feel like it got a lot more.
Yeah.
This person is being married for 40 years. I feel, I wonder how old is this person? And there's so many, I feel like it's sad, it's like, what is it that is saying? A day, what is this thing? I saw somewhere that it says a day without laugh is a waste of that day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just came to my mind.
It's a wonderful point, honey, because even think about for Harold, like 41 years they're on the, lacking intimacy, less than roommates, routine, no joy. Like, what would he have? Why would he have any reason to hope it would change?
I hope it would change.
And yet, here he went on a journey. He trusted God for this process. And, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
This is incredible.
This is... I feel like I'm way behind when I hear husbands to talk about God and Jesus and always talking about that. And I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like they give their lives to God. And I feel like these people are saints. That they don't sing anymore. They don't do or say bad things. They're just angels because they're talking about God and all these things. And I feel like I'm I don't judge or compare myself with other people. But it's amazing to hear that they're talking about God and Jesus and
Yeah.
love. That's amazing. I think.
Yeah, and actually that was one thing that I didn't read, but I already moved away from the screen. But Harold really appreciated that it was so based around the Bible, that that it was so biblically based. Oh, this is what he said. Having had numerous Christian marriage counselings in the past, I don't hesitate for a moment to say that Masculinity Reclaimed course has saved my marriage and has given me a new positive perspective for my wife, marriage, and my life in total in years to come, and which is the fundamental basis of the program. It works because Jesus Christ is in the boat.
See, that's amazing. I feel like when a lot of husbands, when they say that save my marriage, when they say save my marriage, I feel like they know where they're heading, or at least that's what I thought, that they knew that's where they're heading. And me, in my past, it is not fun to be in that spot. It is not fun. I feel like you're angry with God, or you don't want to know about God anymore. You don't want to know. You don't want to know anything about God.
Yes.
And then you hear all those people talking about Jesus, and then you're suffering, and you're doing the right things. You follow the rules, and you're kind, and then still you're struggling, and we're seeing other people that are doing the opposite, and they seem happy, and
right.
We don't understand, and then we start running away from Jesus. From my experience and in my past, and these people, when they say that they save their marriage, I feel like they must be in pain for so long.
Yeah.
So angry for so long.
Yeah.
So upset for so long, disappointments for so long. And to hear these stories that happens in their lives, and I feel like that's one seed that it's planted there, and they can see if they when they had or if they had kids, and their neighbors and their friends, and we still sometimes make a lot of mistakes, but we know that we know the other way, and we can try to fix it. We're trying to be the other way, because you've been so angry for so long. I'll say angry because you're not happy. You're not happy, and sad. Yes, you're sad, but angry.
Like Harold,
anger, yes.
Situation,
and also the others,
or some of the others. I love what you're saying, because that brings me to the next one. Lenny, we'll call him.
Oh.
And unfortunately, I've got to be honest, honey, I thought we were going to get through way more of these than we have time for. So this will probably be the last.
This will be the last time. You see,
But I know you had so many good insights to share, and I think that's you. I am sure the person listening would agree that you give such heart to the words, and clearly you are gifted in empathy, and you can just put yourselves in their shoes, and so I think it's really beautiful to hear your how you feel. So Lenny is powerful. You may end up hearing Lenny's story in a video testimonial as well, but I'm just not connecting the name. It's going to be a different name, so just so you know, the story you may hear again in a video testimonial if you go through if you sign up and you look at some of those testimonials. Okay, so here is biggest marital struggle. You ready? This is a big one.
Yes.
It's a doozy. All right.
You said it's a big one. I feel like all of those
are big ones.
People are big ones. Those people are in. Oh man.
I know. I guess, yeah, I'm just so used to like the bad, 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 and then this like flip flop into incredible. And anyway, okay, let's talk about Lenny. Biggest marital struggles. Get ready. All right. So, intimacy, emotional and physical, as well as communication. Physical intimacy was a problem because she had a bad attitude about it and consistently rejected me 90% of the time when I would try to initiate.
90%.
Yeah.
That is every time.
Yeah. And if we did, quote, spend time together, she would usually have a bad and unenthusiastic attitude during it. She would be degrading and insulting about me verbally and non-verbally during physical intimacy, to the point I was often emotionally afraid to even ask her to be with me.
Oh, man. Ooh.
Yeah.
To the point that he was afraid to ask?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He even said I had PTSD-like symptoms, post-traumatic stress disorder-like symptoms pertaining to some of the things my wife had said and done to me over the years. Things around physical intimacy. Memories of things she had said or done sometimes caused me to physically wince and gasp for breath.
That's crazy.
He says, it was awful, and I was so broken and hurting. I would try to talk with her about the problems. I tried to get her to open up about whatever it was about me that she hated. I tried to be vulnerable and tell her my heart about what I wanted our relationship and intimacy to be like. Her only complaint about me when I would ask was that she felt I wasn't satisfied, and why wouldn't I just be happy with the way things were?
For the way things were means not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously he wasn't happy. I can't imagine the words. I mean, what the spouse has said. I don't know.
He said, my sleep was ruined. Often, frequently, many days in a row, I would go without sleeping, just lying in bed awake, my thoughts racing in downward spirals of depressive thinking about the hopeless situation I was in.
Oh, that's it's like yeah, like in when that whether depression, anxiety comes, and then you're staying in bed, and then you can't sleep, and when you can't sleep, there's a lot of movies playing in your head that are not fun. A lot of things are not fun, and they just keep rolling, and you living in that story.
Yeah.
The fake story.
Yeah. He said I had a short fuse and would get upset easily. I had precious little patience about anything. I didn't even like being around my family, my wife or children. I preferred solitude, except I didn't really. I hated everything about my life. I didn't even want to be alive.
Oh.
I looked to God and eternity as an escape, my ticket out of this living hell I was living in. I couldn't love others as myself because I hated myself. It was very bad.
You didn't have to. You didn't want to leave. You hated your life, your children and wife. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. You want to hear what happened?
Hold on 1 second.
Gotta process that.
Yeah, I feel like when we're talking, when that person, and this is one person, this is one single person,
Yeah.
that I share those things. I cannot imagine how many millions of people feeling the same way,
Right.
whether a little less or a lot more, about their life. I feel like this person talking about one life, that God created this beautiful human being in his own image, that beautiful person, but yet we cannot see the beauty because the reasons of happens in our lives, in our spouses, families. His life, this person's life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing that you get to see these things, and I get to hear now these stories. It's incredible. We just feel like all these things just happen to us, to me, to whatever that person, and we think that nobody else does.
Yeah.
I feel like because nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Who you want to talk about it, there's nobody.
Right.
At least that's what we think.
Right. Right.
And whether it will be embarrassed to talk about it or not have enough close friends because our friends are not healthy way for us to share our things. But I'm grateful that these people, they have a spot that they can share the way that they felt and the way that they're feeling now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a life. It's a son. It's a father. It's an uncle and a husband. I don't know. I'm excited.
I know. I'm too excited. Okay. Can I tell you what happened with Lenny?
Yeah.
All right. So about 2/3 of the way into the program, I noticed some unusually good behavior from my wife in the area of physical intimacy. Things I had been looking and longing for many years. Things like she would do occasionally, 0 to 2 times per year. It wasn't until about the last week of the course, after I had been noticing her consistent changes for 3 to 4 weeks, that I finally realized I have a new wife now. But not a new one. My old wife from when we were first married was back.
Oh, what? Oh, that's beautiful.
She had her passion, energy, and enthusiasm back, only now even better with some practice and a little more knowledge from experience over the last 13 years of marriage.
13 years. Oh.
And he says, I am finally starting to live the dream I had been hoping for many years. I have my wife back. She is my lover again.
I have my wife back. Starting to living. What is it said again? Started to live the dream.
I'm finally starting to live the dream I had been hoping for many years.
Finally starting to live in the dream. Oh.
Yes.
That's crazy. I'm trying to fight my emotions.
Tell me.
Whether I cry easy or it's just too deep, too strong to this person said about what it was. And then what it is. I feel like it sounds like two different people.
Yeah.
Way two different people. It's like, where this person? But he yet said that, oh, that's beautiful when he says that when he got married, now finally he's got his wife back.
He says, thank you. Oh, so I said, any additional thoughts? He says, thank you. God saved my soul, and he used Jesus to do it. God saved my marriage, and he used Bella to do it. Not saved in the sense that we would have ever gotten divorced, though the devil sure sent that thought across my mind enough times, but saved it from a living hellish nightmare.
Oh,
I was in torment in ways, in what was at the time a very unfulfilling and stressful marriage. Outwardly, it looked fine and maybe good, or he said, and even good, but inwardly, my wife and I had very little to no emotional connection, and sex, as the weather gauge, was going really badly. I resented my wife and children and didn't want to be around any of them. Sure, I did the things I was supposed to, but inside I was all torn up and ruined. I was deeply hurting and struggling, wanting to die for it to be over, till death do us part. And now I'm enjoying the present, free from the weight of the past, and hopeful of even greater things in the future.
Free from the weight in the past. Wow.
He said, I sleep better now than I did 3 months ago. I'm happier in my relationship with my wife, children, and others at my work and church. I have a more positive outlook on the future. I'm more content. Oh yeah, physical intimacy with my wife is better than it has ever been, even compared to when we were first married.
Even compared when they first got married.
And he says, no, really, I hadn't even dreamed it could be this good. She has become my dream, my wife again, my lover again. I am amazed.
Wow. I feel like, isn't it crazy that it's like a book that you just writing down those fairy tales. Everything looks beautiful if you put all those beautiful stories, right? But all the bad stories are not in the book. All the beautiful stories that no one struggles. All those things and excitement in their lives. But, you know, nobody will know those fairy tales stories. It has something in the past that they're no longer there anymore.
Yeah.
That's these husbands. I thank you for staying with your wives.
Yeah.
I thank you for being patient. I thank you that still even when you're angry, to be kind with your wife, because I know people recently, last couple of days, today, that did not know that they're separated.
Oh no.
And I just, it's crazy. It is crazy. And they're young. They're young, but not that young. But I feel like, where was all this stuff went? Where did it go? Us as a man, we refuse to put the first step because we feel we will look weak. I feel I'm just thank you for these husbands that they're still looking for how to love their wives, how to respect their wives. And I feel like just how to love their wives, talking about just their wives. And a lot of them had kids and will have kids and have babies.
Right.
And I feel like that will be and you are an amazing dad, loving your wife.
Yes.
That the way that you treat your wife, the things that you said to your wife. I just thank you for all the stories and things that happen in your life, that you did not give up the hope that there's hope.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, Jesus, like nothing happened. If I did not hear your struggles, I will think about you never had those challenges.
Right.
But we all had those moments.
Right.
So I'm just grateful, and I thank you for all this hard work to be with your wife and children and friends. That's amazing. That is amazing.
One of my favorite things that Darrow tells me sometimes is he just looks at me and goes, "I'm so proud of you."
I am.
And that just makes me feel so good.
Because I feel like sometimes when I said, babe, I'm so proud of you, the things that you're doing. You know, and I keep, when I hear this husband talking about life, ending life, a human being, a precious human being, and
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And my wife, the things that she takes, a lot of times to prep to be her 100% for all of you. That's amazing. It's not just come here and then we all said it. It takes preparation, organizing, and all those things. How to help. That's the thing. How to help. Instead of the other way. But the word is how to help. How to help you. How to help us as a husbands. And I know I am lucky.
Well, the reason I was even saying that when you tell me I'm so proud of you, I feel like the listener just received a special Darrow "I'm so proud of you" moment of you are doing a good job, right, honey?
Yes.
I mean, that's.
Oh yes.
I feel like you encourage better than anyone I know. You just you know how to encourage, and.
Yes. Well, I'm so proud of you, and I thank you for what you're doing.
Can I read the last 3 sentences here?
Oh.
And then we'll wrap.
Yes.
Because I really was going to try to get through, I don't know how many more, but lots more. But we didn't, and that means we got through as many as we needed to. All right, so Lenny's final thoughts here, as he said, "I believe in this course content so much that I will be continuing to study it and master it even more, practicing to perfect my execution to be the best husband I can be to my wife." This is the part. Oh, honey.
No, this is amazing.
Yeah. And then okay, so then.
Can you read it again?
Yeah. "I believe in this course content so much that I will be continuing to study it and master it even more, practicing to perfect my execution to be the best husband I can be to my wife." And then this is the part that I think is just so powerful. It goes, "I will be requiring my children to go through the appropriate men's and women's courses before I give my blessing for them to be married." And it gets better. "And I will require the prospective spouse to complete their applicable course before I give my permission for them to marry
my child."
And just a note, Lenny has 6 children, so.
I keep thinking about 1 or 2.
No, he's.
Wow. Well, your husband's husband.
Goodness.
That is incredible, and
It is incredible.
I'm glad to hear those stories.
I know.
I don't get to hear that often, because my wife, she only is professional with her work, and I'm grateful to hear those stories.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Okay, so look at my spreadsheet. All the pink ones were the ones I wanted to talk through with you.
That is. I don't think we went through half.
But that's okay. That's all right.
That's what happens when I get excited and encouraged to say what I think.
That's right.
And you see, I keep talking.
Well.
But anyway, I think this is it.
Do you want to?
Thank you.
Do like a final prayer for the person listening?
I can pray for it. Dear Father, I thank you for every and each husbands that are out there, God, living their lives. God, I thank you for those people that they did not lose hope.
Yes.
And those people, God, that they're out there, that they're struggling. God, I pray that they would find the hope that there is something that they can do, God, that it's not the end of their friendship, relationship. God, there's families involved, children. I pray that you bless them. You give them the wisdom and the passion, God, to love one another. God, for their amazing wives, God, that wanted to love their husbands. I thank you for every single one, God, that wherever they go, that they'll see you, they'll see your image through them, God. That people start asking questions about what's happening with these new people. God, I pray that you protect them, you bless them. God, when we have some challenges that we know we come to you, God, thank you for everything you have done. Bless every single family in this earth, God. That those people that will spread the word, God, that they will come, they'll see the hope, God. Bless them in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Such a beautiful prayer about hope. And that's so true. I absolutely hope that if you're listening and that has been that you're in a similar spot as some of these men, I hope that this episode has given you some hope, that there is reason for hope for you. So your next step is to go to delightyourmarriage.com/masterclass. Sign up for this free masterclass. Don't let it run by you. Don't let it pass you by. And then you get the principles that I teach in this, by God's grace, life-changing course. You can get it for free. There's no reason not to be signed up for this. And if God has stirred you in this episode, if past episodes, we only went through the ones that graduated just a few weeks ago. It's not the entirety of all of the MR graduates, because that would take much longer. So this can happen for you. It just happened in these last 3 months. It could happen for you. I mean, by the end of the fall, that's my prayer for you. Anyway, so join us, delightyourmarriage.com/masterclass. Honey, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you for letting me hear the stories.
Oh, amazing. All right. Love you. And love you, listener. Thank you. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Full of mud stuff. They can't get out of the mud. And then walking through red carpet. That's what it reminds me.
Like the before and after?
Like before and after. I'm like, what? What are you walking? Oh, but you don't know what I've been through. So that is amazing. Thank you.
So you were surprised?
I was very surprised. 40 something years of married.
Yeah.
Not that they're 40 something years married. 40.
1980 is when they got married.
Too many numbers, but 41
years.
And less than a roommates. Like your roommate's okay, maybe you had disagreements, but less than a roommate. And the people that wanted to end his life. That was crazy. Yes, I was surprised. So crazy. That's I keep thinking about this, that when you're like stuck in mud and you can't get out, you have to fight all these things. Sometimes you just give up and that's it. That's the end.
Wow.
Forget everybody.
Wow.
And then little by little, you're tired, you're angry, you're upset. And then to walk in, instead of red carpet, and you say, like, what are these guys doing? It's almost because if you knew, yeah, that's what I had that thing.
That's
described.
a beautiful image.
It's a good image, right?
Yeah.
When I'm telling you, and then you're thinking about it.
Yeah. It's like they were in this horrible place of mud and frustrated, angry. That's good. That's a really good way of describing where a lot of these men start from. Like, even as I'm reading some of the responses to a lot of the stuff, I'm just like, they're in such pain and such frustration and such exhaustion, tired, angry, absolutely, lonely, all of these things.
Yeah. I was very surprised.
Like, I see these things, and that's why it's kind of like, you were very surprised? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was very surprised at everything that you read to me. That's why sometimes I ask you to read it twice so I can understand.
Yeah.
But no, it's crazy.
Just reading some of these, the stuff that people are submitting right now as part of the masterclass, and I'm responding to, and the team's responding to and stuff, and just like, I'm so grateful they're doing the masterclass, and because I know where they are right now, it's just like these guys that you just got to hear, like, they're in the same types of situations, and
That's crazy. And like you say, just these people. Imagine.
I know. I'm so excited.
Thank you for this. First, I was like, maybe Slay, we can do it tomorrow. But then, as you keep reading, start thinking, oh, that life sucks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking about, this picture in my mind. All those people trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them feel like they cannot get out.
Mm.
And they're tired. And these people are just trying to get out, and then they still will step into the mud.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what is this? Okay, let's do some work on. That is amazing. Good work.
Thank God. It is really, like, a lot of their comments, I'm just, I'm so grateful. I'm so, so grateful. And, you could hear a lot of them are either marriage professionals or pastors, or, it's just incredible.
And we think that they're well trained, if you say that.
Yeah. And they, they are. They're important, they've got tons of insights. They're
right.
Awesome stuff, but. Mm-hmm.
But we don't think about that they're struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We think like we're all just struggling, and we go through those people, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
They're going through hell.
Which is so unfair, Where do they go for help? Where do the leaders? Because that's the thing that I see so often is a lot of these guys they disciple other men, or they're the leaders in their churches, or they're the, and then like you said, they're going through hell in their own, doors are closed and they're suffering. It's.
Oh.
This makes me so happy. Well, thanks again.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other thoughts?
No, just keep doing what you're doing. I keep stuck this person that is depressed, and this person. And then he says that. Oh, he put it beautiful.
Mm.
He got his wife back.
Mm-hmm.
That is just incredible.
I had to yell at Lenny sometimes. There were a couple times I was like, are we still friends? But afterwards, no, he thanked me because he had some really exciting experiences. I was trying to pull it up while we were talking. I was like, no, I don't want to distract us from...
Yeah.
Because there were just so many things that when I went to interview him, he was like, anything that I have written, you can use. Like throughout the whole course. And I was like, okay, that's very kind of you.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole thing. It's just wild. Anything else?
No, I mean, I could keep going. That the things that you share,
Yeah.
things that you that you get to witness.
I know.
That you get to witness.
That's the thing. Every day I get to see miracles. It's like these are miracles. These are legitimate miracles. We have a gentleman who less than roommates, and now she's initiating, and Penny and enjoying, and like no intimacy. All of these, like,
and
these are miracles.
asked for a penny,
right?
Like,
right.
That is. I feel like it's an explosion of roses, not fire.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And I know that for a wife to do all those things for their husbands, it takes a lot of work in their mind.
Yeah.
And we've seen that it's fine. That what do you think about work? It looks great. You're fine. But we don't think unless the wife shares.
Yeah.
Those things. But yeah.
Thanks, babe.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last question for you is I kept recording. Can I use this as well?
What do you mean you kept recording?
I kept recording the conversation.
This right here?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can use it.
You don't
as
mind?
long as... I don't know what else I don't know what I said.
I think it was good stuff.
But it was a great stuff.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. All right. Love you. Thanks again.
Look at that. I've been tricked.
You were tricked.